Hello Stampers, my name is Linda Bedinger and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today I'd like to show you how I made this card. I had a request for someone on my team to figure out a shutter card. So this is what I came up with, and this first one was my prototype. I've learned a little bit since making this one, and it really isn't necessary to have the ribbon belly band, but I kind of liked the way it looked and it picked up the yellow. By the way, this is that sheer ribbon colored with one of my blends to get the yellow color. And as you know, we're out of the ribbon in Celebration, but this ribbon, as well as this white ribbon with the silver edges, can be colored in any of those colors that were in there: the Grapefruit Grove, the yellow, the blue, so on and so forth. These are very handy to have on hand, only because you can make ribbon whatever color you want. And so I'll put this one up here, and let me just show you how this works. So I put "Thanks for your friendship" on here, and then on the inside you open it up and the card says "Especially for you," and this is the shutter mechanism. It closes when you close the card, and then it opens back up and reveals your message on the inside. And like I said, since then I've learned a little bit about doing them, and I've done another one in some of this beautiful Celebration package paper, and this one has this beautiful floral paper on it, belly band, and "Especially for you." This one I did with the white base so that I could have a place here to write on the inside. And so this one I am doing again, and I'm going to do that in just a little bit different bunch of colors out of this same suite of papers. So in this case, I'll be using this paper, some of the Grapefruit Grove, and some of this paper. So and like I said, I've learned a little bit since I started making these, and for my team I had sent out a PDF, and I'll send you a new PDF that has these new measurements on it. But what we need to make this card is we need a base that is 8.5 by 5.5, and we'll score this together. You need 2 pieces of Whisper White that measure 2 inches by 5 3/8 inches, and then this is the DSP I'm going to use on the outside of the card this time, from this same suite of new papers out of Celebration. So these need to be 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. Need 2 of those. Then we need a piece for the inside that measures 3 inches by 5.5, and then a piece of DSP to cover it, and that measures 1 let me look at my notes here, 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. Then I used Grapefruit Grove for my shutter pieces again, and these need to be 4 inches by 3.5. And then I have some additional pieces. I used my second and third largest layering circles from Stitched Framelits, so that I could get these stitch details, and I created a sort of a border here by putting these two together, running them through the Big Shot, and that gave me this piece for the rim of my circle on the inside, and then it gave me this interior piece. Then we need 2 pieces this size of DSP to cut out the outer circle here. So it's going to be the outer circle, this inner circle, and then a little white piece here that we'll use some punches on. And you'll see as we go along. So you also need a little piece of scrap of white to get this piece here. All right, so let's just get started, and I'll show you what we're doing as we go along here. So the very first thing we have to do is take our piece of white here that is 8 by 5.5, and we're going to score this at 2 1/8 inches from either side. So 2 1/8, and then turn it around here if you're just using your trimmer here, and 2 1/8 from this side. Okay. Then the other pieces that we have to score are these Grapefruit Grove pieces, and we're going to score these at, I'm going to use the measurements on this side because that way I can put my piece up against the bridge here, and we're going to score those at 1/2 inch, both of them on the long side. So at 1/2 inch, and that's all the prep work we have to do to make this card. This one is a little fiddly, but once you get the measurements down, it comes together pretty easily. Okay, so we're going to burnish those score lines and burnish these score lines here as well. And so what you want to do when you do this, so your gatefold covers properly, is you want to make sure that you're set up evenly, top and bottom, and then burnish your score line, because this one is best if it meets up really nicely in the middle. So then we're going to turn this one this way, and I'm going to butt it up against this one and then put my burnish down so this absolutely meets in the middle and is perfect as far as the closing is concerned. And in fact, I'm going to burnish that one more time on the back side because I want this to close really, really well. And let's see here, burnish that on the back side. So how we put this together. Let's go ahead and put these pieces together first. These are the exterior panels, and I'm doing this one just a little bit differently than I did the first one, but I think this configuration works the best to give you the most success on putting this card together. So here we go. I'm going to set this piece on my white panel here. And I'm going to go ahead and adhere that to the front of my card here. Now we have the front of the card basically completed. We'll have our pieces that we're going to add here as we go along. And then on the inside, what we're going to do is measure across this. This is 4 inches by 3.5. So what we have to do is find the center of both sides. So this is 4 inches. So the center of this card, if I set this on my grid paper at 6 inches and 10 inches, then at the center of this is 2 inches, and I can make a little mark here on my card. And then I need to measure, this is 3.5, so I need this, and I think if I put this over here you can see the edge. Yes, I think you can. Okay, so if I set this at the edge at 3.5, I know that the middle of this is 2 3/4. So I'm going to set this at 2 3/4 and make my mark, and that is the center of both of those pieces. So That place where those two meet is now the center of this, from this side and from this side. Now, what I'm going to do is make a little line from this edge, this corner down here, to that center mark. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side, from that center mark to the edge of my corner here. There we go. And then I'm going to use my snips, and I'm going to cut just on the outside of that pencil mark so I don't have anything to erase, or not much to erase. Right to that center point, and then again right here. Okay, and there, that should be dead center. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this second piece and line it up exactly and cut that same piece out, following my others, so I know that these two pieces will be identical. And there we go. On that side, make sure I'm still lined up, and cut inside here. And there we go. We have our two pieces cut. All right, so that is our shutter mechanism. And what we're going to do is put these pieces here in here. And what's going to happen is we're going to glue these two pieces down, putting glue on here, so that when this opens up, this will be glued to this side and come up here and pull back on both sides and reveal the center of our card here. And I thought that, let's see, if I do this, let me just make sure I get all of those pencil marks off there. Well, that one might have to go the other way because that pencil mark doesn't look like it's going to come off. Okay, so we're going to put these on this way, so I'm going to reburnish those going the opposite direction. Okay, all right. So now we're going to go ahead and put these mechanisms in place. And what we want to do is I want to sort of center this here on the inside of my card. And I want to make absolutely sure that this door shuts. So I'm going to do that, and I know that's going to work there. So I'm going to take my Tombow glue here, and I'm going to put some glue right along this edge here. Not so much that it oozes out, but this is going to open and close. So I want to make sure that it's got plenty of glue on it, and maybe that is a bit much on that side. Let me move that around a little bit. And then I'm going to close this door, and I'm going to hold that down a second while I get this side glued up. So I'm going to again put some glue right along this edge here. And I want the strongest glue I can get so that this absolutely doesn't move. And let's see, that should be good. So I'm going to fold this down, and then I'm going to center this over the top of this one so that the top and the bottom match perfectly. And I'm going to set this into place here. There we go. And make sure that my door closes. And I'm going to put this into place on this side. and hold that down for a second to let Tombow get its grip. And hopefully when we get this put in place and fold this door, our diamond will close here and then open back up again. I'm getting a little resistance, so I'm just going to cut the tips of this off. Just a little bit. You see I'm taking off, oh, maybe a little more than 1/4 of an inch. And then I'm going to put one of these on top and one of these on the bottom of each other, and that should close easily, and it does. Okay, so there we go. Now we've got our doors opening and closing the way we want them to, and we can, at this point, we're going to put these two pieces together here, and I'm just going to use snail to layer these pieces. And I've got just ever so slight a border on this. There we go. Perfect. And then on this, what we're going to want to do is get this here, and we're going to want to, let me just see if I measured this so that it came out roughly the same. Here I kind of eyeballed that. It's a little closer to the top than it is to the bottom. Okay, so the deal here is to get my opening, and what I did was I used this piece here to make my opening on this, and what I'm going to want to do is figure out if I move this to the side and I come straight across here and I set this up on my grid paper so I know that that's straight. I'm going to use a big ruler though so I can go all the way across, and I'm going to figure out where the center of this needs to be cut. So it looks like I'm going to want to be at right there to go across the apex of where that's cut and come all the way across here. Let's see, that's right about there. Okay, I'm going to put a little tick mark right in the middle of that, and I know that this is 3.5 inches long, or 3 inches long, so I'm going to mark it at 1.5, so my mark needs to be right there in the center and about that high top to bottom in order to be on the line here. And I'm going to check it from this side just to make absolutely sure here, and that mark should be right in the center. And it looks like it is. So my mark is right here in the center, and that's where I'm going to need to make my opening here so we can read the sentiment on the inside. And I am going to just tape this down here for my center, making it about center, top to bottom and right to left. And I'm going to run this through my Big Shot and get my opening, and I'll be right back. Okay, so here is my center cut out of my paper, and if I did this right, this should be right in the middle here of where I'm going to be putting this piece, and it looks like it's just perfect. Okay, so before I add this piece, now I'm going to put this piece up on dimensionals because this piece is raised this way from the inside that you can see here, and so it's going to put particular stress on this if it's laying flat on the card. So if I raise that on dimensionals, it won't be quite so challenging. And since I know this is going to be right in the center, I can do my stamping now to put my stamp right here in the center. So what I have set up is I'm going to use my Memento ink, and I have a happy birthday here from Best Birds. And I'm going to, before I have too many layers on here, put my happy birthday right in the center here. Nice thing about photopolymer, because we can see where it is, and get my happy birthday in there. And and then this piece is ready to be put in place on here, and like I said, I'm going to use some dimensionals to do that. Okay, our piece is ready to go back on again here, and this is just going to be set in the center here so that it fits right over our happy birthday, and this should close and open, revealing our message just right. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I have my large starburst punch here out of this designer series paper, and in fact I'm going to cut 2 of them. Okay, and the reason I'm going to cut 2 of them is when you open this card, what happens is you're going to see the back side of this, and so I want to add one to the inside and the outside so these match. So I am going to just adhere these 2 pieces together, and I'm going to use snail for that. So I've got my pieces back to back there. Then I'm going to put this piece that we cut out of the center of here on here, and on this one I may have to cut this piece again. I'm going to add this with snail here and get this piece placed in the center of this card. And then I have my 1 3/8 inch punch that I'm going to punch out a circle here. And I thought I would add another sentiment on here, and the sentiment I plan to add is from Bunch of Blossoms, and it's "Let's Celebrate Your Day," and then open up inside and it says "Happy Birthday." So I'm going to put my "Let's Celebrate Your Day" on this little round piece here, so that it's right in the center. And let that dry for a second. Put my ink away. And what I can do is put my glue right on this piece and then put this piece in place right here in the center. There we go. And rather than just have a belly band closure or something, I thought it would be kind of fun to put this piece on here and give a little bit of a hint of this paper from the inside. I'm going to put some dimensionals on this side. Right, and there we have our card. Now, for decoration on this one, because this paper on the outside is a little plainer, I thought we could use some of these sequins here, and they have some of this wonderful kind of orangey coral colors, and so we can maybe put a couple different places on the card here to give this a little bit of decoration. I've added my sequins, and we can do a ribbon around this, a white one with a little bit of this pretty silver around the edge. Let me just go ahead and do that. So I'm going to put this so that it comes right along the bottom edge of my piece here, and I'm going to give myself quite a bit of ribbon here to do my bow to go around the card. This is about, I would guess, 18 inches or so of ribbon. And so on this, what we're going to do is tie this one in the center. And I'm going to have the tail on this one be a little longer on this side than this side. And I'm going to tie my bow so that my tails both come down on this one side. When I do start my tips and tricks series that are going to be 5-minute videos on how to do some different kinds of things, I'm going to start with bows because I know some people really struggle with them, and I'm going to show you how to make sure that you get your and get our bow put into place here. And there we go. And so we have a bow closure on this pretty little card, and that is the project for the day. So these are the various versions that I've done of this card, and the measurements that I gave you for this one is after trial and error and looking at lots of people that are making these and coming up with finally which I think works the best. And my white bow with the silver for this one, and for this one I have my white sheer ribbon bow. But that is the project for the day. thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel today. I do so appreciate it. And if you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd love to be your demonstrator. And or you could join my team. The join offer right now through the end of March is $175 worth of product for $99, and an offer to get a tote, which is a beautiful tote, for $50. And this join offer will go through the end of March. But there are my 3 projects for this shutter card. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you'll give it a try. It's a little fiddly, like I said, but once you get your card pieces cut, it's not bad. So thanks again for stopping by. And let's see, my prize draw. Let's see, it would have to be an order put in today because today's the last day of the month, is for the Well Said bundle. 50 stamps and 24 dies. So again, that's it for me, and I'll be back soon with more cards and more projects. Bye!